What's up guys, welcome back to another video. I know I've not been posting for like years and I'm not intending to be like a full-time YouTuber, but I do want to get into the 2026 US Senate elections, especially now that there are, well, very much a new era. And there has been like long periods where I've been a bit black-pilled on politics and have mostly been focusing on other aspects of my life, but I do intend to be occasionally active also on YouTube. So the 2026 US Senate elections, there are a couple of things, quite important things to take note of, and that is the Democratic advantage and how they are possibly squandering that advantage. So let's start by just filling in some of the safe states, because Oregon, Colorado, New Mexico, many of these are just safe and are not going to be competitive whatsoever. Even Virginia, and Republicans have a bunch of safe states, and Montana, maybe not yet, maybe even not Nebraska yet. We'll just fill in all of these completely solid states, including Florida, by the way. I'm now going to take you a bit more into the reason the Democrats have a significant advantage going into this season. So the Democrats do have a pool of strong candidates. Of course, Janet Mills did not become the candidate in Maine. Graham Plattner did, and he is not a strong candidate. Graham Plattner, I don't even know much about his background, even though it is a lot of dark, shady things there. Janet Mills, former governor, or the current governor, Roy Cooper in North Carolina, former governor, Sherrod Brown, former senator. These are strong candidates that are giving the Democrats good chances to take these places and take the Senate altogether. And we can go on. Mary Peltola in Alaska, former congresswoman, and James Tallarico in Texas, who is actually quite far left on social issues. You can see him talk about how many genders there are, and when his opinions come out, it's also not going to be very easy a ride for him, but he is running against Ken Paxton, who is also, well, he's not a strong candidate either. And Tallarico could potentially win in Texas, something that Jasmine Crockett could not. So when we look at these states, there are a couple of likely ones. That includes Montana. I would say Nebraska is also a likely R, as well as Iowa, because Ashley Hinson is a quite strong candidate there. Maybe she's not the incumbent, but I think she has a much easier shot, or much higher shot to take it than Ken Paxton does down in Texas, because again, she is a strong candidate, she is a popular congresswoman. Meanwhile, the Democrats will likely hold on to Minnesota, and to be honest, New Hampshire as well. It's just not the year for Republicans to take these states. And then there are the more controversial ones. Obviously, for now, I would put these in the toss-up category, and I would put both Georgia and North Carolina as lean. But this can change. They can both become likely Democrats. And I don't think that the strongest candidate was elected in Georgia. In North Carolina, I think it's more about name recognition. I think that Michael Whatley has a lot of good input to come with, but I do give both of them to the Democrats just off the bat. Maybe there can be like a governor coattails effect in Georgia, but even there, the Democrats will have a much better chance than they've had before in actually taking both the Senate seat and the governorship. But we will go to the other states. Texas, so small advantage still for Ken Paxton and the Republicans. And that is simply because Texas is a red state. I know Tallarico would love to flip that state blue, take those evangelical Christian voters, but his views are too extreme. They are. Paxton has scandals, but Tallarico is part of the woke universe, and therefore it will be hard for him. Ohio, the Republicans in Ohio and the voters there have tried so many times to get rid of Sherrod Brown, and now he's attempting a comeback. I think John Husted, being a long-time lieutenant governor, will pull it off in the end, maybe only by 3 or 4 points. It maybe will be like Bernie Moreno margins or J.D. Vance margins. And that leaves Michigan and Alaska. And since this is the first prediction, oh, I forgot Maine. Must not forget Maine, Susan Collins. This is my first prediction for this season, and probably the only in a long time. So Alaska, I still think that the identity of the voters will hand it to Dan Sullivan now that they don't have the other Dan Sullivan also on the ballot to confuse people. And I would love to see Michigan go red, of course, but they have not yet selected the candidate, and if the Democrats go for, say, Mallory or Haley Stevens, they do have, I would say, a small advantage just because turnout will be much higher on the Democratic side. Polls, yes, but turnout also matters. And then in Maine, I do think Susan Collins will pull it off one last time. So this is my current prediction for the US Senate in 2026. Please leave a comment what you think. I'm going to probably make also videos about the House and the governorships when I have time for that. I am working and I do also have like other activities that I'm doing on my free time, so that's why I've not really found the time to focus back on YouTube, and I have been absent for some time. But this is my current prediction. I, in some cases, hope I'm wrong, but I don't think the Democrats will take it now when they are not polling as good as they did in 2018 or 2006. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.